Welcome to the More Smarter Show. This is Jake and Dylan. Jake, what do we have on today's agenda?
Well, first off, we're on Riverside, the app and the website for Riverside. So it's a little bit of a upgrade in quality. It's not free anymore. All right, it's not Google Meet pressing record. So it's a little different visual for those consuming on YouTube. For Spotify consumers or any podcast app, I hope it's the same. I hope it's good quality there as it always has been with the audio. But anyway, today we're going to talk about systematizing and standard operating procedures within our businesses. And I know, Dylan, you want to talk about our businesses in particular. But then after that, I want to go into like what we've learned through having 8 different guests on the podcast so far. Maybe take some snippets of some of those guests and what they're doing and how we've implemented that in our lives so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone that we've had on is always giving us tips and tricks on how to make our business that much better. So that's obviously very appreciated, and we don't take that lightly at all. But one thing that I've personally been implementing in my realtor business is something that we're both a part of, is when I had a problem where whenever I would get under contract, there would be more time dedicated towards those under contract clients than prospecting for more people to get under contract and close more deals.
Classic. Yeah, yeah.
It's a
So
classic problem.
yeah, it's like it's a constant. It's any business owner probably deals with. Okay, how can I best service my current clients, but also market to new clients and also market to past clients? Yeah, it's definitely a cycle business owners can relate to.
Exactly. And I was thinking I'm working more dumber here because I'm just running around working on the clients that I've already been working on. So how can I make my process go from, all right, once you're under contract, I have a whole entire system, because there's nothing strays away from it being the same core steps in a real estate transaction. There's always going to be the inspection, always going to be an appraisal, always going to have the title search. And those things are always going to happen. Why do I have to have the exact same conversation with every single person? I need to make that more streamlined.
Sort of. So I'll speak on this. So there are things in a real estate transaction that are repeatable. And I think that's what you're referring to of there could be a system, a standard operating procedure around that, whether that's you doing it or someone hired to do that. I agree. The challenge in this industry is that no two houses are the same. There is always going to be a personal touch. It's not even a challenge. That's our job. But that's exactly the truth of it, where you can't totally automate being a realtor, nor should you ever, because the client wants to work with what you make yourself different about.
Yeah. So I mean, totally, totally true. But where I come to think of it when I say that is I go into each and every house that I'm under contract on with a certain level of experience that the buyer doesn't have. Let's just say a baseline experience.
Yeah.
I want to be able to express that baseline experience to those buyers on a systemized level. I don't want to be able to. That's what I'm trying to get by, is how can I just explain the basics of it, where it's, if we ask for too many credits, you're not going to be able to get this house. If we're too like one-sided, then we're not going to be reasonable, and it's not going to close.
Yeah, you're
Just
managing
one example.
expectations. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So first of all, the systematizing is we're saying systemize and systematize. So whether it's right or wrong, let's just stick to systematize.
Systematize. Okay.
Okay.
So,
'Cause I'm not positive, but let me talk. So Loom videos, I'm the biggest fan. We talked to Scott about Loom videos on that episode. I recorded one today. I recorded one today, and I'm not even under contract. So I typically use these for under contract because the process is the same. It's, hey guys, we're under contract. This is what happens next. And it's generic, right? And I'm telling my clients, like, they know I'm not just recording that for them because this is a generic piece, and then we get into the details after that. But this gives them a strong baseline of what to expect.
yeah, I love that. And you were the one who kind of got me onto the Loom videos. I've done one specifically for a client, and I've only done one though, but it was received very, beneficial for the client. It was great, and they really appreciate it. But the thing was, with where I was getting at was, I want to do a more professional, like, Loom video is cool because you're able to, like, scrum around the screen and everything and show visuals. But I'm thinking of making it super professional where I have this suit on and I'm walking through the generic things with like pop-ups on the screen and saying, all right, this is that, and just like 5 minutes or less explaining each and every step in that under contract process, which is the baseline. And it's the generic one. And then when I do have more in-depth problems of exactly what we were talking about off camera,
Mm-hmm.
where, all right, if we were not going to go forward with this house, this is the other houses that are on the market, and this is a very specific Loom video.
Okay. Why the suit? I don't get it.
I like the suit. The reason why is because I never wear a suit. I'm like super casual and
Okay.
almost like too casual. Like I'll wear like a collared shirt, like occasionally a polo, and I think having a suit would just be so funny. Yeah, all my clients just see me in a suit. It's like
Like, do you think you have their attention in a different way if you have a suit? Is that the
I
point of it?
do, I do. I
Or
think
it's
it's
funny? Like,
more, yeah.
I don't
It's
get
both. I mean, it's both. I think it's like, oh wow, he's wearing a suit. Then
it.
it's like, why is he wearing a suit?
Yeah,
Is
you're
the
like
funny part.
obsessed with the fact that you'll be wearing a suit in these videos, and I think that's like that's like picking the icing before the flower of the cake, right? Like, sure, it could be a suit or not a suit. The point is, I agree. These videos are really helpful for me. I actually have them on jakehandler.com, and each one's password protected, so you can log in now and see which topics I have. You can't see the videos unless you know the password, which I text my
Mm,
clients, hey, have these pre-recorded videos, here's the password of this one, when I'm ready for them to look at it. um, and one that I love that comes up a lot is commission. It's
mm.
how do I get paid, whether that's for a landlord client or a buyer client or a seller client. Like, I discuss each of them in different videos, commission, because that's whether they want to ask me that or not. I always send them that video because sometimes they're probably afraid to ask that.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I mean, I know that's always a tough conversation, especially when you don't get ahead of it. And I say to those clients when we are about to get our offer accepted, and the agent calls me and says, "Hey, it's actually a 2% minus $225, not 2.5%." And then it's either okay, you're gonna take this pay cut, or you're gonna have to have that difficult conversation up front. Obviously, there's already
Yeah, you're
buyer
getting
broker
into the weeds
agreement
a little bit
signed.
because
Yeah,
like the average listener does not know what those things
that
mean. So
means
it's
yeah,
probably too far into the weeds for this
true,
content. So let's
true.
gear back here and talk about
Yeah,
systematizing.
yeah,
But yeah, videos are great when they could be. And there's always going to be a personal element, which is what makes it great, right? Like, I enjoy the self-employment of being a realtor because I enjoy helping in more than just sending a video.
yeah.
But I actually I want to tell a quick story on that. When I was a teacher, my last year teaching, I was like getting really good at systematizing. So I would record myself explaining the rules of a game because I taught gym. So the game would already be set up. The class would
Uh-huh.
come into the gym, and we used a microphone, which is also systematizing, so I didn't have to yell. And I
Uh-huh.
would just play the microphone to my phone of me talking about the rules of the game.
Well, you were what? You were just like off somewhere else, or you just
No, I
watching
was
them
no, no,
all?
no, no. I was standing there. I was never off anywhere else. Standing there, just holding it and like basically making eye contact with them, and they would
Uh,
just listen to me. So I didn't have, I taught the same class 6 times a day.
yeah,
Otherwise, I was saying the same rules 6 times that day. It's the same thing with
yeah,
being a realtor. With this idea, you're 6 under contract. You got to have the same conversation. No, just record it once. It's the same thing.
yeah. Totally, totally. I
And the
love
other
that.
thing, the other thing is, if you think about it, I think people are more um, engaged in listening to a video or listening to a recording. At least in this teaching example, like I wasn't gonna rewind. Like I'm not repeating. It's pre-recorded.
Mm,
If you're talking to your friend, you're missing this whole thing,
yeah,
right? And I think
true.
like maybe obviously we're talking about adults here with real estate, but like maybe there's an element of like, oh, I'm not tuned out to Jake talking. I'm tuned in to Jake being recorded. Maybe
Yeah, yeah. That's fair. I mean, I think it would be different because people can always rewind on a computer or
that's true.
wherever when they're.
That is
But
true.
I think it's totally true because now they're able to digest the information more in comparison to having that phone call, and now they're only have to listen to it once, or only can listen
Right.
to it once. So that definitely helps in itself with that. And now going back to having our past clients, we've had eight
Mm-hmm.
not past
Past
clients,
clients, past.
past guests. We've had eight past guests on the More Smarter show, and one thing that's really has just stuck with me since I think it's been the second or third guest we've had, which is Rob Calabrese. One thing that he said during our podcast was every single week they go back to all of their emails that happened the previous week and just read them all and see what you missed, see what you could do better, what's the typical thing that goes in and out of the business. And it's just tracking everything that is like how your business is running. And since having that conversation, I need to still act on this, but I've thought more about what kind of emails am I getting every single week, and how can I make that more systematic.
All right, I don't fully understand. I don't know what you mean. I remember Rob's episode. I remember him talking about like following up with people, like scheduling
Mm-hmm.
emails, but you're not talking about that.
So it's both. I mean, it's just understanding what's coming in, right? If I have three under contract and as a realtor, and something that is I'm trying to stay away from the real estate side as much as I can, but prime
Okay.
example is a consistent thing that will come in and out is different vendors in a real estate transaction will reach out asking for certain stuff.
Like a
And
roofer,
no,
like
more
a lender.
like a lender, an attorney,
Okay.
all that
Okay.
sort of stuff. So how if I know that these, like we were saying before, there's a baseline to this. If I know that these questions or these things are going to be asked, why can't I get ahead of this with the scheduling of the email or with the already Loom video prep for a client whenever they're asked of what an appraisal is? So
Yeah.
when those happen, how do I get ahead of this instead of just waiting for it to come?
Got it. And you're saying Rob's system is just like recapping once a week what emails he spent time on, and he could be like, you know what, I didn't have to spend this time on that if I make a system around it.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and for us in this real estate example, it's so interesting because there's like teams which we've talked about, and then there's being a solo agent,
Hmm.
and I mean, you know better than me with team experience, but are you saying like this is basically done for you and systemized for you on most teams? Do you think?
No, because you're still an independent contractor. You're not able to hand a roll off
Yeah, you
as
can't have like a partner explain what an appraisal is, so you're still doing
exactly.
that.
You're still doing all of that. It's more of the, I guess, hands-on reminder if you're on a team of just saying of having more people. I guess you do have more people to kind of lean on for it, but no one else is going to be there to walk you through it.
But since you have more people to lean on, then I'm thinking like you're not a better business owner then, right? Because what we're trying to do here with this whole concept is, at least for being a realtor, is make self-employment into business ownership as much as possible. Some things could never be offloaded
Hmm.
and done, but a lot of things can be. And it's therefore better for our clients when we are the business owner because it's not, you don't have to wait an hour to get a recording when I'm ready. You have it for you in your video. Like things like that are better for the clients. So it's so interesting that we're having this conversation. I know you were on a team, like a real estate team, which had a lot of this done for you just like a few months ago. You
Hmm.
probably wouldn't have had this conversation with me a few months ago.
No, yeah, because to a certain extent, it's done for you. Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
your mind, and it's also trained within the team that you shouldn't be thinking about that
Right.
because
It makes sense.
yeah, which that's the whole point of it. It's value add for them, and you're
Exactly.
focusing on just the prospecting stuff. So, but if that's something that they're doing, why can't I do it? I
Right.
could just
Right.
do that exact thing.
So yeah, and that's the ideas we're talking about. So like a transaction coordinator is the big one. It's probably the number one thing that like a team provides, but you can just hire your own if you wanted to
Yes.
and create a system around that entirely. Yeah. So Dylan's audio's off. So like right now in a different room actually in my house, I hear Meg talking and I know she's recording Loom videos, I could
No.
tell, for her next management business, which we interviewed her as well to discuss. So she is, and that's something I've kind of learned from her, like the way she has multiple employees. So the way she's gone through the process of going through multiple employees and some good, some bad, and and how that works. Like she's actively 4 years into her company doing Loom videos right now.
Mm. That's awesome. I mean, yeah, it just shows that it works. So, um, yeah, I mean, that's just the basis of it. Is how do we make it smoother? The more basic the skill is, how do we make it smoother so we can focus on the bigger ticket
So
items?
what other guess guess nuggets have you picked up? I'll start actually. JT, I was thinking of his nuggets this week and how actually this month. It's been a while. I the whole thing that his business of he has a bookkeeping business and it's monthly subscription based. I would love that element of income for
Mm.
myself. And I would love, like, I sort of have that with my management company, but I would love that to happen again. like, it's cool because it's like a fixed amount, like your income and outcome on a monthly basis versus us as realtors, like we really don't.
Don't know. Yeah, yeah.
So it just
And
has me thinking of like ideas of businesses I could start that have that subscription model.
so what's the desire to have that? Just strictly because it's the income, or like what's kind of so fearful, I guess, of being as a realtor and not having that predictable?
Well, it wouldn't be in lieu of being a realtor. It would be both. So having both of those would be nice, right? Like I
Hmm.
was a teacher and a realtor, and I knew what I was making per month as a teacher, and then the realtor was like gravy, and
Yeah.
and that's sort of what I'm thinking with this. And I'm actually like so down to start a new business, which we could probably have a whole episode
Different
about. 'Cause
conversation. Yeah.
I've been throwing ideas at you off camera for like months of what, and ChatGPT has like they're gonna like quit on me. I've been all over them about business ideas.
Yeah. Well, so that's the whole premise though, is the subscription model. I completely
Yeah,
agree. It's the more you look into like blue collar jobs is what I was like considering being a part of a construction company. And when I was going through all that, it's like it's going to be the exact same struggle of being a realtor. Like you're having to deal with um, a whole bunch of clients, and you have to prospect for business, and it's never consistent. There's off seasons, so it's tough
there's
to
challenges
look
with
into
with
that.
that, and there's challenges with subscription too because trust me, I've been through all facets of this mindset when I'm trying to think of like what I want to spend time, like invest my time to a new business. And a lot of these, reoccurring revenue model businesses are 10 by 10, right? Which in the past
Hmm.
episode, we have said like you're making $10 10 times a month. And when you're solving a $10 problem, or even honestly a $100 problem, that's not always fun. And that's not something you want to spend time on when you're also selling a real estate and your commission could be 10,000, right? It's
Yes.
hard to give the 10 or $100 problem the same piece, the same mind
Yeah.
that it deserves because it's your business. But then I'm like, okay, what's that in between? How can I make a few hundred a month per client consistently through all 12 months, not just a seasonal job as well or seasonal business?
Hmm.
Um, it's got my brain has gotten everywhere and I haven't really come up with anything.
Yeah. I think it's almost like there's too many options nowadays. Like where do you even go?
So home
And that's
services is where I want to focus because I already have clients and I have, connections and knowledge and it's something I enjoy. Yes, there's still a million things within home services.
But with that though, you say you already have clients. Do you want to commingle clients?
Actually, I wasn't talking about realtor clients. What I was talking about is like my property management company. What we have like 200 people that we have access to. And no, I don't want to commingle those things, but I know what those people, what their wants could be based on where they live and what they have and don't have. So it's not really for me that it's going to add value, but it's for them. Like I know how to add value to them because I know some pain points already. And that's the advantage I was trying to refer to.
Yeah. So I agree. It's easy pipeline too of clients, and that kind of does remind me of Scott's almost Scott Bauer's episode where he was working at Barstool and he was doing his side business of marketing, and he was like, I'm leaving and you can outsource me, and they did, and they were at Bars big as Barstool was. He was their marketer for several years. So it's kind of all you need is, I guess, that one connection that can create that business for you.
Yeah, yeah. When Scott was talking about like specializing, and Meg as well, they specialize in their industry and they create a business out of the specialization. That also kind of hit different for me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of the way, right? That's kind of the way. Like
Yeah.
it's like a lefty specialist in like the Major League Baseball. Like you bring in the reliever Tim Hill for the Yankees to like face a lefty. Like it's hard to replace that person because he's special at that.
True. True. So what is that for you?
Still figuring that out, but I'm calling myself like a free agent right now in business, meaning I'm not stopping anything I already have, but I do think there is room for me to put my powers into another business, like a free agent. I think I can either acquire a business or start one. I think I'm young enough. I think I'm experienced enough, having done some businesses already, good and bad. And I feel like I am just ready to have 100% ownership myself. I'm the guy in a business. But yeah, what is that business? That's been for months. And I'm using this platform like to talk to people to try to get ideas of what they like and don't like. And I think I'll get there. I'm just not there right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're on the right you're on the right path. I mean, that's the same way I'm thinking too. Is what's the next step? And that's all you need to do is be in the right rooms, listen to the right people, and people that are actually taking action and doing the things that you have the desire to do as well.
And
So
then if we use Rob Glasser's episode, then any business we make we can put into Bitcoin.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the biggest thing is when you talk about investing, you're investing the money to your time and energy connection is so crazy because
That's
that's
it.
that's life. It's your time and energy is going towards something that just gives you money. And now, I mean, we can go down a whole rabbit hole with
Well, no, I'm not actually trying to get into Bitcoin because I'm still whatever on it. But yes, the time and energy concept. That's my paralysis here. I'm analysis paralysis. In my time is not cheap. It is, it's my best asset. So, to myself, it's my most valuable asset. So, do I really want to spend time on the wrong business? I don't. I want to make sure. That's why I'm taking a long time to decide what business that is. I want to make sure this is something I will like and it will make money and all those things that I need. This will accomplish that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we got to do some more digging to see what that would look like, but
Well,
doing
so
the right
so
steps.
in the asset conversation, like let's talk about that for you because you mentioned you also like me want to start a business or acquire one or something like that.
Hmm.
But the difference between us is one age, 10 years or so, right? So you're behind, you're 10 years younger than me.
Hmm.
And so that's a good thing in most ways. But I also have like real estate that I own and
Yeah,
equity, and that is like that's backing me essentially, and house hacking.
totally.
That you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
totally.
you don't have that. So what are you thinking?
Well, I think house hacking can be something that anyone takes advantage of, and if you're an entrepreneur, you are able to leverage it even more, where you're getting that equity and you're being able to put all the money that you would be putting towards rent or a mortgage, and now keeping it and being able to put it towards your
So
business
is that step
or
one for
Bitcoin.
you?
That is
That's what I'm asking.
Realistically, I'm going to buy a house before I start another business. Yes.
Yes.
So that is step one. I don't think it has to be step one. I think building equity in your home or in an eventual investment property is something that is definitely very important. But I think you can simultaneously build as much equity you would build in a house, in a business, if you went about it in a smart way. For a prime example, one of our future guests that we have scheduled for is was living with his parents up until he was like 27 while simultaneously building a power washing business. And now that business is doing millions in revenue. And he owns his house now, bought over like COVID, has a really low interest rate, and he's doing perfectly fine. But he was putting all his money towards his business, and it built up more than a house hack
Yeah.
would.
So there's a quote I heard, or yeah, and it's like you have passive income and massive income.
Mm.
Those are like two buckets.
Yeah,
And when I heard that, that connected with me because everything I have is passive income. I have the multiple homes and the retirement accounts and all those things that are doing great for me. What I'm missing is the massive income. Now you kind of starting and deciding which avenue to go, there's no wrong way, right? I would think the wrong way is whatever's third, but if you go one of those two ways, that's awesome. Well, what if you acquire a ton of money and then use that for passive income activities, like your example of our future guest? That's
true,
awesome too, right? There's no bad way.
absolutely. But I also think that there's maxis when it comes to business, like maximalists that put all of their money towards business or crypto or whatever. And yes, that's the if it does work, that's the you're making massive income. And but they're not playing it at least a little safe where you can still put a large majority of your money towards building a business or investing
Yeah, of
aggressively
course.
and still house hack. And that would be the side thing. And for
Correct.
me, that's where I think of is I'm not a fan of the traditional retirement funds, Roth IRA, 401k, all that sort of stuff. I'm not a fan of that. Not at a corporate job. I'd rather put my money towards more house hacking properties and
Okay.
Bitcoin.
Okay. So, yeah, I thought you were going to walk me through the okay, everyone diversify because like yeah, I know we should all diversify. I'm not saying you should go all into massive or all into passive, of course, right? That disclaimer is unneeded. But
Yes,
I do like what you said when you didn't go that route and it was like, well, I can build a massive business and house hack.
yes,
It is that simple. House hacking is that simple and it's the
yeah.
best way to
Well,
get
yeah.
started passively.
Exactly. But where I was going with that is not saying you shouldn't invest into 401k. Obviously, house hacking, I believe if you just house hack one a year or even one every 2 years, you that's better than putting any money into a Roth IRA.
Well, because you're renting in that scenario, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, either you're renting or you're living at home. You have no equity building.
Yeah.
I think that having that where in an eventual 10, 20 years, depending on how many you're buying, you have 10 properties that are now being paid
Yeah.
for either by 10. I mean, everyone that's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
cliche nowadays, but the way that I like to look at it is do you want to be do you want to be 65 and have a whole bunch of money, or do you want to work really hard right now as we are and work really more smarter and be putting that money towards something that you could have access to. Number one, you don't have to get taxed hella. Number
Hold on.
two,
So you're now saying like house hacking versus retirement accounts. That's kind of what you're going with, because I wasn't going there
well,
yet. I was just at
yeah, okay.
massive
So I
versus
mean,
passive.
I was, yeah. So we are, yeah, spiraling there with a little bit. So not, not. it's not house hacking versus retirement accounts. I'm saying house hacking um, is a move to have where you can still play big, but you can also play safe.
That's how
And
I feel.
it's
Totally.
yes,
And separate from retirement accounts, that sort of doesn't even enter the conversation yet. Because it's like, I mean, my experience alone was a simple house hack, starting with a simple ass house hack. It was a 2-bedroom condo. It actually, by definition, cannot get simpler. And I was, while doing that, I was building a realtor business, which for me was that massive part because I was also teaching. So I was able to sort of take a chance in what I would call that of being a realtor,
mm,
right? Follow a passion or take a bigger leap.
yeah,
And I didn't quit teaching yet until after house hack number 2, as we're talking about how that can snowball. But yes, it's all because, so yes, the passive, which is house hacking, introduced me to the massive, right? And now where
yep,
I'm at today, I'm still looking for like another massive because now that realtor is my full time job, so it's no longer that gravy, you know.
hmm
So now I'm looking for like another massive. But yes, that allowed me to take that leap,
and then eventually you will jump ship from the realtor, and you'll go full time on that next one. It's just the evolution at that point.
and then I'll be looking for another thing.
Yeah,
Who
nonstop.
knows? Who knows? Like that's the beauty of the More Smarter show. It's or our ears and eyes are always open. We're talking to not only people in our industry, but people in random, marketing and video recording industries that we know nothing about. Because yeah, I'd be down for something I don't even know exists yet to be my thing in 5 years. I'm a free agent in life.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And honestly, we haven't talked to one realtor. Like it's only just you and I. We've only spoken to two other people in this space out of eight
Yeah.
people.
Other real estate
Um,
space, yeah, for sure.
base, yeah. But I
Yeah.
think that's our whole premise is that we don't want to just talk about realtor and real estate. Obviously, it's something that we lean to a lot because it's a large part of
Yeah.
our day. But the horizon is way bigger than that business and working more smarter.
Yeah. So I'm excited for future guests. We already have like 6 lined up,
Yeah,
ranging from. Should I
everything.
even tease it? I mean, we got roofers, we got investors of different businesses, we got lighting people. It's crazy. So I'm
It's
excited
endless.
as a little tease, but the next few episodes will be very exciting for hopefully the few people listening to this. But I don't really care about you guys as much as I care about us. And as we shared in this episode, we are sponging this whole thing, and this is worth it, through that alone.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, hopefully you like this episode of the More Smarter Show. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Only if you liked it.
Peace.